This week's rental review is a Jeep Grand Wagoneer. I reviewed the regular Wagoneer and I didn't really like it, but maybe this one will be different. Paint doesn't look too bad. A little bit of orange peel. I had 6 people in here and all our stuff fit. Plus they were comfortable. So I was actually surprisingly impressed with this vehicle. I did pick it up with 19 miles on it, which might have helped, but lots of cargo room. In terms of passenger room, even in the third row here, one, you got a completely flat floor. You actually have a pretty good amount of space. Reclining seats, USB ports. Pretty easy to get in and out of. The seat folds forward, kind of like a minivan. Gonna have to figure out how to, there we go, put it back there. But yeah, great passenger room. More power outlets. Rear HVAC. Does it have HVAC in the roof? Oh, it does have vents all the way in the back. Perfect. Moving on to the interior here. I'll go over this more when I'm driving, but it's the same basic interior. Shifter's in a bad position. Screen works pretty well, connects pretty fast. Obviously it's pretty bright. And this is a pretty base model. It doesn't really, base model, these are pretty expensive, but it does not have a panoramic sunroof or anything like that, but I know these come with, I believe, 3 sunroofs as an option. So materials are, it's Mopar. Where you put your elbow soft, here soft. Get a nice, decent sized console here. Some more storage, but only 2 cup holders here because, again, this shifter takes up a lot of space. A wireless charger there that works pretty well. But yeah, the materials, they're not the softest thing in the world. And it is kind of cheap, especially the fact things like this. This door trim is it just feels like a Jeep Compass or Dodge Dart or something. The leather on the wheel, it doesn't exactly feel like a premium product. But I'll tell you what, none of that matters if it drives good, right? It kind of does. You're spending 80 grand, but yeah, let's take it for a drive and see if I have a better opinion of this than the regular Wagoneer, which I really didn't like. A couple other interesting things in the interior. You can change the amount of ambient lighting is adjustable with a knob, which is weird. And then also, obviously, the regular dimmer. So you got 2 dimmers there. I was not expecting that. I was sitting here messing around with this for quite a bit of time. Physical HVAC controls too. So the fan is a button. Temperature is a button. Man, they really, when they redid this, they thought of this. This was smart. Physical HVAC controls. Yes, a lot of things are buried here in the home screen. You still have Apple CarPlay, which, again, it connects fast, works pretty quick. I don't know if this has off-road pages or what. Oh, it does. Not that you'd ever take this off-road, but that's pretty cool. Oh, it has a locking rear diff. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, yeah, the screen works pretty well. Overall, this thing doesn't totally suck. Okay, so driving the Grand Wagoneer, I picked this thing up with 20 miles on it. Pretty quick for a 3-row SUV. That Hurricane engine is quick. It was quick in the Rebel. It's even quicker here without the all-terrain tires. It's been tuned a little bit differently here too. It sounds a little bit better. Seems to be very well suited for this vehicle. So engine-wise, I'm sure the fuel economy is going to suck, but performs good. Comfort-wise, I rented a standard Wagoneer, not a Grand Wagoneer, before, and I was not in love with how it rode. This actually seems to ride a lot nicer. Maybe it's because this thing has, 117 miles on it now? And maybe the other one just, had some bad tires or bad air suspension. I don't know. But this one rides pretty nice. It does have a noticeable amount of wind noise, though. I mean, I'm going 60 miles an hour, and I can hear the wind noise. But yeah, the ride's good. The power's good. The handling is not good. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a big fat, 3-row massive SUV. This is the longest wheelbase version of this. But the body roll is something else. And these factory Bridgestone Dueler tires start to push, even going around a corner at like 20 miles an hour. This thing feels even bigger than it is. And mind you, I drove a 1987 K20 Suburban to the airport today. And that drives way smaller than this. And that's 40 years old. So they definitely went on the comfort side. They went for the utility instead of the sport, which I'm okay with. But it's odd because the engine, they definitely went with the sport. I mean, 420 horsepower, 480 pound-feet of torque. Even right now, if I nail it, it goes. This thing is quick. I've never had a complaint about the Hurricane and horsepower. My complaints have always been centered around the reliability and, the lack of fuel economy. But yeah, it drives good. The Apple CarPlay connected really fast and easy. Hasn't dropped yet. I did have 6 people in here, and it did pretty well in terms of, passenger space and everyone's stuff. So it has a good amount of passenger room. There's a lot of leg room in the back. I'd say that this uses its space better than something like a, Ford Expedition, the long wheelbase one. Suburban's pretty similar in terms of interior room, but I know that this and the 6.2 technically make the same amount of power. There's absolutely no comparison. This thing is way faster than a 6.2 Chevy. Now, it also has the same reliability concerns and poor fuel mileage, but I would say the ride's better here than the GM vehicles. And again, I'm comparing this to like a Suburban or a Yukon XL without air suspension. Once those get air suspension and once you get into the Escalades, they ride just as well as this, but they actually handle better. The handling it's just bad. There's no way around it. This thing does not handle very well. But yeah, it's comfortable. It hauls people pretty well. And that's kind of what it's designed to do, is be comfortable and haul people. So that's good. Turning radius is not bad, especially for a vehicle of its size. There are some, interesting quality things. Like, this wheel, the leather on here, the fake leather, is the same stuff that they use in like a Jeep, Cherokee or a Dodge Dart. I know they don't make those anymore, but so a lot of the materials do still feel kind of cheap, even though these things are not cheap. I think these start at like 60 or 70 grand. This is a pretty sparsely equipped one. It does not have a moonroof. It does not have a lot of features, but it still has Cooled seats, heated seats, big screen, heated steering wheel. Really not a big fan of this shifter here. I mean, especially in a big 3-row like this. They put the engine stop-start button here. They could have definitely put the shifter up here too. I mean, this shifter, it's cheesy and cheap feeling, and it takes up, you know, a lot of space here. I mean, look, you got 2 cup holders. You do have a massive center console area here that kind of splits open. It opens, yeah, and it has an opening in the top, which is great, but would have been a much more efficient use of space without the shifter taking up a lot of real estate there. Another just kind of interesting thing is the visibility. It's good. I mean, again, it's that boxy shape, so it just kind of works. So I reviewed a standard Wagoneer, and I didn't really like it because it didn't have that much room, and it rode noticeably rougher. The price was about the same, but I did note a lot of the same quality concerns: the wind noise, the price, the questionable reliability. So would I recommend one of these? I still wouldn't. Is it a good rental car? Yeah. I said that with the last one I rented too. It was, you know, if you wanted to go fast and, you know, not really worry about long-term dependability, why not? But, you know, get one of these used if you are going to get one. I mean, it'll probably have some of the gremlins worked out. These things are notorious for electrical issues, suspension issues, engine issues, you know, dealer's choice. But yeah, on the used market, they sell for about half of what they do new. So get one 1 or 2 years old if you really do like this. And yeah, that's about all I have to say about the Grand Wagoneer. I appreciate you guys watching. I know this is a quick review. I'm with customers all week, so I'm not going to film a rental review with 6 people in the car. But just wanted to put something out there. And yeah, in the 112 miles, it hasn't broken yet. I will say, although it hasn't broken yet, the electronics in here are pretty annoying. Like right here, it says check the second row latch before I drive. Well, somebody was sitting in the 3rd row, and the 2nd row is, you know, partially folded. As far as I could tell, there it goes. So I cleared the error, but it comes back. You know, it'll just remind me again here in a couple minutes that the 2nd row's not latched. So, you know, I can see why people don't like the electronics in this. They are kind of annoying. Case in point, I've got Apple CarPlay hooked up, and it doesn't show what I'm doing in Apple CarPlay in the navigation in the screen. Now, that could just be because I'm in navigation and not in... Nope. So the navigation wants to use the built-in navigation. It doesn't connect to the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. That's interesting. So yeah, little things like that are definitely annoying, but overall this thing's good enough, I guess. I mean, hey, it's fast, it hauls people, but the quality of all the materials is pretty low. It already has wind noise with, you know, 100 miles on it. The price is astronomical. I know this Hurricane engine's terrible on fuel. So as a complete package, do I like this thing? No. Is it a good rental car? Yes. That's about all I have to say about the Grand Wagoneer. It's a good $70,000 rental car. If you like going 0 to 60 with, you know, 8 people in the car, get one of these, I guess. But is that worth 70 grand? It's not worth 70 grand to me. Ask yourself if it's worth 70 grand to you. So that's the Grand Wagoneer. Till next week, I'll be in another rental car, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Get out there and go drive whatever you're driving, even if it's a Grand Wagoneer. Do some 0 to 60 runs, and then just try and ignore all the cheapness everywhere. Thanks again for watching, guys. Till next time, take care.